So let us start our journey to that. I have titled it, that I am happiness. So we have to be happy. We have to be happy. Just a minute. Yes, this is done and done. Uh, so today it is better to understand clearly how we are different from the animal mind. And once you remember, then you apply in your daily life. Today we will discuss that. First, we will repeat the 10 questions and answers, and then we will understand how we are different from the animals and why we want to understand that we are different from animals. We already know, don't we know? Oh, we know at the physical level, but we don't know at the mental level. That is the problem. And what it has to do with the journey of the self discovery and what happens when I understand. Anybody spoke? No. So remember the first question, what is the goal of life? There is only one goal of life, that is the self discovery. Other are means. When your mind has many goals and the many means, that is why the mind is wandering. Am I clear? If you say, I will marry three girls, or vice versa, mind is always wandering unless you are focused. Then the second question is, what exactly is the common desire of the entire living species? You look, you observe, you find out that the common desire of all the living species is peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. There is nothing more. There is nothing less than that. Because I am learning Eastern wisdom, so I have no right to be agitated. Say, for example, your honey is not attending a session, they have a full right to be angry and agitated and stressed. They are not learning Eastern wisdom. They find that anger and hesitation will help them to get peace and happiness, but you know that it is not possible. Then they will remain all, they will agitate me all the time. Eastern wisdom says, don't get agitated by the world outside. They are solving your problem. Everyone started thinking. Third question, what is the end of the suffering and permanent happiness? Always remember this, that what is at the end of the suffering and awakening to permanent peace and happiness is known by a single word, nirvana in Buddhism, Kaivalya in yoga, Mukti and moksha in Eastern wisdom, salvation. You have other words like salvation in the Western part of the world, and awakening. Are you clear? The moment anyone say end of all the suffering in life and awakening to permanent happiness is known as the nirvana. So now the fourth question comes, what is nirvana? Or what is salvation? Or what is awakening? Or what is self-knowledge and realization? So what is realization? Single word answer is self-knowledge. Means the knowledge of the real self. When it is realized, this is what the fifth question is: what is self-knowledge? So there comes, we know the real self, we reject and negate the false self. How many types of self-knowledge? Indirect knowledge, direct knowledge. So we will open up these questions in detail so that we have no doubt. How many types of self-knowledge? Two types, direct and indirect. What is indirect self-knowledge? When the teacher teaches you and makes you aware that this is what the self-knowledge is. That is indirect knowledge. And what is direct? You realize yourself. What does it mean? You know your name is Sophie. It cannot be Anne. You know it 100%. This is AI is doing. I bought an AI camera for you guys. No, for myself. Why for you guys? So it moves. I have yet to understand slowly. I'm still ignorant. So now question is, who gets the indirect knowledge? Who gets the indirect knowledge? Simple one-line answer: who is a seeker? So are we not a seeker? Yes, we are a seeker, but we have to become a seeker. I am a seeker of driving the car, and I don't have a driving license, so I have to become a seeker. I have to learn the skill sets of driving. I have to learn the rules of the road. The same way I have to learn the principles of the Eastern wisdom, so that I know this is the path, and I should have the skill sets in the mind to have the indirect knowledge. So how indirect knowledge of the real self takes place? So there is a fourfold qualifications, and in order to open up that fourfold qualifications, we have the today's topic. Now, are you clear? I'm making everything very clear. Now, still I do not understand. Thank you very much. What we can do? No, don't insult me. I am understanding everything. Only yesterday I became angry. That was one incident. I got upset. So they both are related. My attitude, my behavior, and learning both are intimately related. So you see that all the 7 questions I have taken. So how we are different from animals. Emotional dependence in animals cannot be reversed. Emotional dependence cannot become an emotional freedom in animals. Whether your dog or cat is 15-year-old, he is still attracted by a bite of food. We have a choice. Do you see that? We have a choice. One example of emotional dependence. Animals do not know. What they do not know? They cannot separate themselves from the instinct that they have. We can separate. Why we can separate? Because of free intellect. What is known as a free intellect? It is known as a free will. You all know it, free will. What do you mean by free will? We should understand. So that free will is not in case animals. What do you mean by free will? Means I have a choice to act in my life. I have a choice not to act and remain lazy. I have a choice. I have a choice to marry, and I have a choice to remain single. I have a choice to divorce. It's a different matter that we misuse our choices. So now you see the difference between the animals, that this is at the mental level. When they do not know they have an emotional dependence, I am talking about the animals, what happens, their life is monotonous. The tiger remains the tiger throughout their life. We can become anything, anything impossible. It is because of the free will and the free intellect. Are you clear? I have a free will and the free intellect, so I have a free choice. What is a free choice? I have to exercise free choice. I'm not going into anxiety. No, I'm not going to react. I'm not going to fight with you. No problem, whatever the situation be. I will not be disturbed. That is the right use of the free intellect, free will. What is the misuse of free intellect? I married and I divorced. Now, one example. You already know that. I use this example for anything and everything in our life pertaining to the conflict. Don't you have a choice that you don't react? You consciously think and stop reacting. So you are helping yourself. It means what? I can bypass the emotional dependence. I can bypass the emotional bondage. What is emotional bondage? I'm attached. So the moment I am attached, I will definitely be attacked. Attacked by whom? Have you started thinking about others? No, I am attacked by myself. Nobody attacks me. I am attached, so I am attacked by myself. That is what is emotional dependence. That is why I say I have a lot of stress. I carry the burden of this stress for the last 10 years because you are a special person. That's why you carry the burden of the stress. Who told you to carry the burden? I have a free intellect. Drop it. We don't want to drop it. Why? Emotional bondage. So that is why we are differentiating between the animal mind and the human mind. You see, this is what is happening. So anyhow, I'm learning. So yes, now it should not happen. So this is what we understand by the difference from being an animal mind and having a human mind. If you don't have a human mind, you cannot become a seeker, you cannot reach to the self knowledge, which is known as the nirvana, which means the end of the suffering. That is the third question I have answered. End of the suffering and the permanent peace. Then you cannot choose, you cannot understand that there is a common desire of all the entire living being, and then it becomes impossible to keep your mind focused on the first question, what is the goal of life? Then our means will become the goals of life. The moment the means becomes the goal of life, then forget about your peace and happiness. These means are constantly going to hesitate you every day, minimum 100 times, subconsciously, habitually, unconsciously. That is why we are not able to live in peace and happiness. Another problem that comes with this animal mind, if we follow the animal mind, means emotional bondage I have just explained. This emotional bondage or dependence or attachment, because I am attached, so I am already attacked by the thought, feeling, wrong notions that veils the knowledge, that covers the knowledge. And that is why we suffer. So we fall into complete ignorance, or you can say we fall into ignorance. And that ignorance causes the suffering. I think I discussed about it. There is a complete ignorance. But what is complete ignorance? I'm sleeping. What does it mean by complete ignorance? Sleep is complete ignorance. I don't know anything about the world. Do you know anything about the stress, pleasure, fear, conflict, relationship, situation? Nothing. Even I don't know whether I'm body and the mind in deep sleep. That is complete ignorance. And you wake up from the complete ignorance, you say, wow, I had a sound sleep, I'm totally fresh. That is why we say ignorance is bliss. Can you have a luxury to live in complete ignorance 24 by 7? Means, can you sleep 24 hours, 24 by 7? Answer is no. Why no? Because what triggers me to wake up is emotional dependence. Then I start living in incomplete ignorance. There is no complete ignorance. I have little knowledge. I know that I'm the body when I wake up. I know I'm the mind. I know I'm the husband or a wife. I know my profession. I know my gender. I know a lot of things, and still I accept I don't know real self. This is what we say the incomplete ignorance. And because of that ignorance, I have an identity crisis. What is the identity crisis? I don't know what is my identity. I go to the office and boss says you are crazy. You didn't work. Go and work. Now your mind says, really, I'm crazy. And when you return home, so you are welcomed by your honey. I love you. You see that who I am. I'm crazy at one place, and I'm a person who is loved at the second place. Are you getting it? Incomplete knowledge. I don't have that understanding. Incomplete knowledge about myself, incomplete knowledge. So, what does it mean? When I have a complete knowledge about myself, that what is the real self? I am of the nature of consciousness, that is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So, I have a complete knowledge. I have now, can I add? I have a complete direct knowledge. I have a complete indirect knowledge will not work because that comes from the teacher. You have to work on it. You have to assimilate. You have to digest this teaching. Am I right? Is there any doubt about it? Even if you have doubts, say no. We have many doubts. We will cover that. Now see that. So that is the journey of Eastern wisdom. What is the journey of the Eastern wisdom? That I have to move from ignorance to wisdom. I have to recognize what is false, so I have to negate the false. When I negate the false, what is left is the real self. How I negate the way? Light is the absence of darkness. So the darkness is negated. So once we understand the difference between the from the animal kingdom, that we have an intellect, we have a free will, we can choose a free action, we can make a choice what is right and good. What choice I make in emotional dependence? What I like even if that is wrong, I make that choice. What I like, I will do it. I'm attached. What I dislike, even if it is good, I keep disliking it. That is attachment. So that is the rule of the intellect, the free will. Animals cannot make their choice. Animal cannot become conscious what they like and what they dislike. It is automated by the existence, automatic mechanism. Life is there, consciousness is there. They don't have a free intellect, they don't have a free choice. They don't have a free choice. But when we have a freedom, it comes with a responsibility. We don't exercise that responsibility. We get carried away by the emotional dependence. That is why we have anxiety, duality, conflict, long list. I studied modern psychology. I was given 600 pages book. Title, Abnormal Psychology. You start reading it after reading 100 pages, your mind says, oh, you also have many of these symptoms that you have read. So instead of becoming a psychologist, at the same time, you also become a patient. That is not our journey. Our journey is that now we have to start with the peace and happiness. That is the beauty of this. It is the free intellect and or you can say the free will or the free choice. Choosing the right and the good makes me a seeker. Seeker is any person. Committed. Committed to what? Committed to the first two, where you know by confirmation and conviction that what is the goal of your life. You don't follow the trend of the society. How can I earn? Everything will fall into right place. I have seen in this 45 years, or I would say 50 years of my life, everything falls into the right place. Commitment to the goal of the life. Do not turn that goal of the life into the means of the life at the mental and the emotional level. It is just an attitude, it is just an awareness that I recall that my goal of life is to find the real self of the nature of peace and happiness. You go to the store and then you enter into a verbal argument with the cashier. That is not your goal. Are you understanding? You married to a person, that person may be he or she. You are living in relationship, you have no right. Why? Because you are a human being. Because you have a free intellect. You have a free choice does not mean that you start fighting. You start blaming and complaining. Are you getting it? I have a means to solve the problem. Are you getting it? Say yes. Whatever you have done in the past, leave it. We are just talking of the present. And knows, the falsehood, her husband. Whenever I used to go to her house, I engaged falsehood in which he is more interested. And I learned a lot. And once he started narrating his story, it never comes to an end. 3 hours used to pass. And know that even he doesn't believe me fully, but I had a wonderful relationship with him. I have no right. Think that, free intellect says I have no right because I am a human being. I should not enter into any kind of a conflict. I should not create any conflict because I want to be a seeker on the path. That is one way to approach this knowledge. And then now see what happens. I have been telling again and again. You have to contemplate, listen to this talk again and again, and contemplate and reflect. So the master says, what happens when you listen? You are constantly listening and learning. That constant listening and learning settles in the intellect, and the first result is the detachment. And the result of detachment is the calmness and the relaxation in your life. It is the emotional attachment and the bondage. It triggers each and every cell of the body. It keeps you excited. That may appear very normal from outside. That is why you see the American phrase, I am very excited to listen to you. I said, calm down. You need not to be excited to listen. Those impressions of emotional attachment remains present in your every cell of the body. It creates a different person, which others may not notice, but the changes on your face and the gestures and your questions and your objections tells the story that you are living in emotional bondage. So the master says when you follow this path, first is the detachment, and because of the detachment, your intellect imposes, teaches, educates your mind the art of dispassion. Where is dispassion? You are not at all affected, dictated by any situation, any relationship outside. You remain. It is not a sense of indifference. Oh, it's just a sense of being carefree. That gives you the deeper state of the calmness. And because of the dispassion, your mind lives in a natural state of steadiness. What is the natural state of the steadiness? You have no complaint whether your mind is wandering or distracted. What is the reverse? Your mind is distracted, it is wandering, it is hesitated because of the emotional bondage, because you have many goals, you have many means, and every day your many goals becomes the means, many means becomes the goal that results into the confusion and a conflict. You don't love me, honey. That is the goal. But a honey does not have a love. How he or she can love you? That we don't recognize. Why we don't recognize? Because of emotional attachment. What are you getting it? That is the problem. So we don't go to the root of the problem and we say, okay, so that is why listening, learning constantly, emotional detachment to dispassion, dispassion to steadiness of the mind. And when the mind is steady, you are the higher level of a seeker. Then what will happen? I say that you close your eyes and become aware of the breath, and your mind forgets everything except it remains aware of the breath. What it means? You have a self absorption. What does it mean? It results into the highest state of mindfulness. Then what? You awaken to the areas. Well, you see the stepwise process of this. So unless this knowledge is assimilated, digested, and realized, you have to allow that knowledge to settle. How to settle? You listen again, then stop the audio, and then you start questioning, contemplating, and reflection. As you continue to reflect, your mind will be absorbed deeper inside. It will reveal, your intellect will reveal the knowledge by itself. So the role of the external teacher, who is the teacher in the Eastern wisdom, he is a representative of your real self. Did you understand? What we are searching, real self. So what is the external teacher? He is a representative of the real self. He says, fine, it is within. You know, teacher in the Harvard or in other Ivy League colleges, they are different. They push you to remember and pass the examination, get the degree, then keep on earning money. If you're frustrated, then there is no chance, commit suicide. No, not everyone, but sure, I have seen a lot of cases of suicide comes from these, uh, because we are not talking of the IQ, we are not talking of information gathering system, we are not talking of the memory bank. We want to bring a qualitative change in our mind, in our attitude, in our behavior, in our personality, and the life changes. So you have seen that I picked up the 7 questions, and at the 7th questions, then who is capable of getting the indirect knowledge? And one of the many topics today I discussed that what kind of an understanding is required to receive the indirect knowledge, and why. What is indirect knowledge? The teacher is passing on that knowledge. So once I have a complete indirect knowledge about the real self, I have a clarity and conviction. That conviction changes the mind to commit, to be into meditation, to be absorbed, to realize the real self. Close your eyes. We have gossip enough. Being comfortable, eyes are closed. We have done a lot of gossip, now practice. Good gossip. So eyes are closed, body is steady, looking at the shoulder joints, feeling the sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Just become aware of the entire body, entire body. You look at the body, it is pure, it is a subtler level, but still we are looking at the physical body, the shape. And when we experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness, it is the rise in awareness, my friend. Do you see sometimes the mind questions, why you are saying awareness of the body, you have no other thing to say. We are understanding what it does it mean by the rise in awareness, my friend. And then you look into the space inside. That is a further rise in awareness. I can make you understand. You see that you cannot see the virus with the naked eyes, but you can see the virus through the microscope, electron microscope. So that is subtler. Your mind has to be subtle and subtler in the subtlest. An ability to bypass the perception of the senses to the perception of the mind to a state of perceptionless. That is the objectless state of. I think, I'm little bit tough on the side because we need a different experience altogether. Being carefree is the same. Lane number one, I have given that example. Lane number one, we have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. They are there. We can become easily aware. You know what we are doing. We are meditating. And still the unwanted thought comes. What is the cause? At present, answer that: emotional bondage. Because of the emotional bondage. Second answer, because my mind during the day have many goals, many means, they interchange. It creates a conflict and confusion in the mind. And when the mind wants to calm down, it says, first resolve this confusion. That is the meaning of unwanted thoughts. It is your responsibility. You are responsible for it, none else. But then we give a very simple solution. I said, keep watching. The moment who is an observer, who is the knower, is the lane number two. It is the intellect. That is what we discussed. We have a free intellect. We have a free will. And that free intellect and the free will, I have a free choice. What is the choice? I get carried away by the unwanted thought. I should not get carried away. So I made a choice not to get carried away. What that means, I keep watching all these thought, feeling, emotions, etc. How simple it is. But the moment you make a choice, your mind jumps to the third lane, and that third lane is the calmness in the peace. Instantly it takes place. It happens instantly, my dear friends. If it is not happening, conflict and confusion is still there. And then again, you have to educate your mind the way I am giving the instruction, as if you are giving the instruction to your mind. Why? I'm a representative of your real self. Very good. So now, so we follow another passive way. We say, okay, there are so many unwanted thoughts and feelings. Let me replace with a thought and a feeling that can change my perspective. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Let everyone be happy. So now this statement literally means different, but what is the essence of this knowledge? What is the essence of this mantra, this line? That happiness is my essential nature. Happiness is your essential nature. That is what I am saying. Even when you think and reflect, what is happening? Gradually and progressively, that sense of emotional dependence breaks up. सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे सन्तु निरामया. Let everyone be in a state of well-being. Everyone is aspiring for a well-being. I am very clear, to find the real self will result into the state of well-being. And so it is the common with every being. That knowledge, that essence should hit the mind to loosen the emotional bondage. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed. Grace and the blessing should fall in everyone. It is already falling. That is why I woke up alive. That is why we are all are attending the session. Air as such, do not create any objection. Air does not say that, I will not go inside your nose. It is the existence which is blessing us every moment that keeps me alive. And treat the path of the self discovery. Existence keeps me alive not to create problem to myself, not to create problem to others. These are the universal laws. Sarvma kaschid dukha bhag bhave, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Let none suffer from misery in the world. We are not worthy of suffering. I should say to you all that you should repeat this statement minimum 1,000 times every day and become aware of this state. What is that statement? I'm not worthy of suffering. Whenever anxiety takes over you, reaction takes over you, fatigue, confusion, first thing you say, I'm not worthy of suffering. And that I am is the real self. We have done the mantra part. Mind still does not listen to it. Simple way. Start breathing quick and short breath through both the nostrils, but keep your focus deep inside the forehead. And there you drop mentally Om Shanti. You are gently dropping with the space Om Shanti. But you are doing quick and short breath from both the nostrils into the rib cage. You're moving your mind is on the breath also, quick and short breath. I am still doing the simple practice. Very simple practice is a higher practice. So we will go into other practices as we clearly change our mind even a bit, maybe 10%. Continue. Continue. Your mind will say, no, I cannot do it, and still you continue. See what happens. You are breaking the comfort zone, the limitation of the mind, by breaking that comfort zone. It results into variety of experiences of vision and the colors, and we recognize and accept. And stop it. We have done 2 minutes. I want you to do it minimum for 5 minutes. Then you will see a tremendous change. But if you do it consciously, not by force. So we are moving ahead step by step. So now in that state, move the mind on the entire body from the crown of the head to the toes and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind once again on the body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So in that stillness, you're looking inside the forehead. You see step by step, pointed awareness. You look at the forehead first point. You experience the calmness. Then you look inside the forehead in the space. That space is the darkness. Then you choose a point in the space you have chosen. And then you drop Om Shanti. So it's a pointed awareness. In that, while saying Om Shanti, as if your mind expands and becomes the infinite space. You see the pointed awareness. What is that? The first point, you look at the forehead at any point out from outside. So there you see the calmness. Then you see inside the forehead, second point. Then you see the space inside the forehead. That too is clear. Then pick a point, any point, a single point. Then mentally say Om Shanti. While saying Om Shanti, diffuse, the mind is diffused into the infinite space. Keep on, continue. Again, return to the forehead, outside. You know the process and the steps. This is what I see the pointed awareness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences now. And if you have any question and doubt, you can also put that question. How are you, John?
Hey, Girish, I'm fine. Basically carefree. So it's a good meditation.
Good meditation. Yes, that meditation should remain present all the time, 24 by 7. That is known as the self knowledge, that is known as the nirvana. There are many people make it very complex when they do not understand. Beautiful. That is beautiful. So, how are you, Anne? You have to unmute your. I muted during the practice.
Oops. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
was at the beginning kind of nervous, but it made me feel very good
good.
at the end.
In
And
the end, you feel very good. Nothing happened. We have broken a bondage of that emotions deeper inside. Peace and the calmness is already present. You have to understand that part. So I have no role, you have no role, or if we say we have any role, that role is that we uncover the layer
yeah.
that is causing the conflict. So, how are you, Sophie?
Hi, yes, I'm good. I think I dozed off a little bit, but I came back, but I was very I
It's
I didn't hear you sometimes, and I was not sleeping at that moment.
yep. In self-absorption that happens, we don't hear, but somewhat we are aware. We remain aware. We don't fall into unconsciousness. So that is definitely a deeper state. That is very good. How are you,
Yeah.
Charlie?
I'm good. I, after listening to you today, I kept thinking, you're me talking to me. So I'm just
Yes,
listening to
yes.
myself. And I just felt like I was just going inside and inside and inside, and then just stopping inside. But I was aware my mind wanted to kind of just pull me in different directions, but I like the breathing, and then the shanti. It's like part of me can just drop down because that's what keeps my mind busy doing that, and then I just drop into that space. So it's hard to describe, but that's how I felt.
Beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful. You see that what happened? If you understand it clearly and the intellect assimilates that knowledge, and then you do the practice, any practice succeeds. So it is because of that understanding the, we succeeded in preventing the mind to create any kind of a bondage. I'm trying to be rational as much as possible. It's a wonderful experience. How are you, Beat?
I feel very, very steady
Very steady. Yes,
and
that
calm. I feel
calm.
a calmness and something about a safety. I
Yeah.
feel safe.
Yes, your mind is picking up a good thing. When we are in peace, there is a very subtle awareness that touches the real self, and we find a complete security in that real self.
Mm.
So when you said it is safe, it is because of this. There is no security outside. You may have 10 health insurance, 5 car insurance, 50 medical insurance. There is no security. Complete security is in our real.
Mhm.
Find out, analyze it. If you see that there is a security outside, then everyone will run after that. That is all for today. We will meet next
Thank
week.
you.
Thank you very much. We will meet next
Oh,
week. Bye
yes.
bye. Namaste.
Namaste.